Welcome back to the Barber's Eye channel, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And today we got Gabriel Veramontes in, and I've been wanting to interview him for quite a bit. We talked about it, but again, man, entrepreneurship, businesses, like when you're working, we're busy. So today we finally got time. We finally sat down. I'm going to introduce you to him, and he's going to talk about himself, and we're going to get to know him a little better. He has 2 businesses, and he's been having an entrepreneurship spirit for years. So we're going to get into that too. So I'm gonna pass the floor to him, let him introduce himself, and then welcome to the show, you guys.
Yeah, so my name's Gabriel. I'm from Richmond, San Pablo to be exact. Grew up around Richmond, San Pablo, El Sobrante area most of my life. I came to the Sacramento area, I would say my mid to late 20s. I'm 43 right now, so shit, that's been about 20 years ago. So I've been out here ever since. I started off working from job to job doing plumbing. I started doing plumbing when I was 21. Been hustling since I was a kid, man. Actually, how I got into the whole entrepreneurship thing, I think I started off in elementary. I used to get the free school lunches, like when your family's on welfare and all that, you get the free lunches and all that, and I would sell them for $2. So I would sell them to my homeboy, Scott Fish, man, rest in peace. I used to sell them to him. Yeah, he'd give me $2 every day, and I would just go around and just take a couple bites of my friends' lunches, just to get me by, and then I always had money in my pocket. So I mean, ever since I could remember, I was always trying to make money. Junior high, high school, it's selling bags of that stuff, the green stuff, trying to just make money wherever I could. So it's always been in me. I just learned to kind of perfect it over time.
So that's hilarious, man. Back in the day, selling some lunches, that's a good one. I like that. Smart too.
Yeah.
In your family history, do you know anybody else who's entrepreneurship, either your mother, your father's side?
Yeah, so like on my father's side, they came from Mexico, and they started off a Mexican restaurant, and then they kind of from there, everybody else, my grandpa started a contracting business, construction. My dad was in construction. Grandma started a bar. So, they were always into making money and being an entrepreneur, making money for themselves. My mom's side, they're hustlers too, just working, grinding. They had that work ethic. So I got a little bit of both from both sides. It took me many years to perfect all that and to get it to where I want to be at right now.
Yeah, I remember when we met around the time that you were, or even a little before, you were starting your junk away.
Yeah.
And then seeing how that kind of came about. What was it about that business that you're like, all right, this is what I want to start. This is what I'm going to commit to.
So going back, just me struggling forever throughout all my years, trying to make a few bucks here, make a few bucks there. I was like, man, I need to make some serious money. And I would sit there just every single day, like, how can I make some serious money? And finally, I was like, I need to start a business. And I was working for my boy Junk Pros out in San Ramon. Shout out to him, to Julio. And then, so I was working over there, and I was like, I'm gonna start a junk removal business. And this is the time I was, going back and forth. I was already in SAC pretty much. So, but ultimately I wanted to start a plumbing business, but I was like, let me start the junk removal business first because it seems a little easier to run, a little less headache. So back in 2014, I believe, maybe 2015, somewhere around there, I started a junk away. I started off ghetto, bro. I started off with a U-Haul truck that I bought in Richmond. I painted it blue with a hand roller. It was ghetto as hell, but I wanted to put. I didn't want to get no loans. I wanted to put my own money into it, and then to make it grow, I wanted to bootstrap it. Any money I was making off of the jobs, I wanted to put it back into the business and let it grow. And at first, my wife, she didn't have no faith in me, bro. She was like, oh, here you go with one of your ideas, because I was always having ideas about making money. And they really didn't pan out. I'll just make a little bit of money here or there. So, but once she seen it take off, then she was all in, and she's been helping me ever since. So shout out to my wife, Vanessa. She's the backbone of everything that I got accomplished today.
Nice. Yeah. I know, man. You guys been together for
And actually,
years.
you guys went to school with each other.
Yeah.
And you guys know each other for a long time.
Yep, in the same
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yep,
Yeah.
same school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think she went to another school for years. I didn't see her. Then you guys got together. Yeah, it was interesting, man.
And then going back, you said about 10 years. I think it's been more like 15 years that we've been on each other.
Oh yeah. 50, yeah, it has been 15 years.
15 or more, something like that.
Yeah, no, it has. Because I remember I was working at I was running around doing the same thing. I was working at a treatment center. I was cutting hair, running around on the side. So when you say like you had to bootstrap it, I get it, man. Same thing with barbering. You're going house to house. I'm charging $5 a cut. I mean.
Yeah, I remember I used to go back to your little ghetto ass house back in the days.
Yeah, remember that spot?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, in the garage.
In the
I
garage.
used to get my hair cut. I used to bring
yeah.
my son.
Yeah.
A few of my sons, a couple of them.
You know, I think people these days, and I don't know if you could agree, but when you're starting a business, we just see the bigger part. We don't see that start out point. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you painting your truck and me starting in the garage, them are great times, man.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
them are like, if people really like don't try to rush their progress, like you could really enjoy those times. I think one of my not regrets, but things I think about is that I should have just enjoyed the moment more.
Yeah.
Because I remember at the time, like I just wanted to I'm just hustling, you know, I'm just like doing this, I'm doing that, I'm trying to, you know, accomplish this. But I don't think that those golden times right there is what makes us for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you say your plumbing and your dumping business go hand in hand, or is it totally two different things? Because some people don't know that when you're running two businesses, there's a lot of separation, or is it together for you? How do you run that?
You know, it's a little bit of both. So like, for instance, like, it's total different ball game, you know, picking up junk to fixing people's plumbing.
Right.
And at the same time, you know, it's kind of similar too, because I mean, they're both service type business. So sometimes I can use some of the laborers from the junk removal business on the plumbing side, like when it's slow. So, and then also with the two businesses, they run different. Like whenever one is slow, the other one's busy. So like they're opposites in that sense. So what's good is that like in the wintertime when the junk removal is slow, hey, plumbing is super busy around that time. So it's like I always got money coming in, you know, because you know how it is owning your own business. Sometimes there's slow times and sometimes there's busy times.
Yeah.
And the slow times, guess what? You're not making a whole lot of money.
Right.
But when you got other streams of income, you know, then you're always financially set. So, and that's why, you know, in these days, especially in California, it's very important to have multiple sources of income. You know, whether you have a full-time 9-to-5 type business and a side hustle. But I mean, if you notice, everybody around here is starting to have side hustles, or more people are opening up businesses. I mean, it's the only way to really survive these days.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's working. You know, the man of the house, the woman of the house. Everybody got to pitch in. Sometimes even the kids pitch in. But you know, everybody has to work together to make it out here in these days.
No, it's true, man. I mean, it's rough, and you gotta really like grind hard to make things happen. Like I said, I didn't go back to the social media part. Is like I think we see things online, make it look really easy, and expect everything to either work out or things to be perfect, right? Like the business to run. But then, like you said, when it gets hard, what do you do? Like when things get difficult, or you ever feel like giving up, or you feel like maybe I got too much on my plate?
So, well, whenever things seem to get hard or not panning out for me, I take a step back, right? Because basically, whenever that happens, I feel like I'm taking an L because I'm not, you know, making money like I'm supposed to. So I take a step back and I sit there with my notepad, you know, my to-do list, and I sit there and brainstorm like, man, okay, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna overcome this obstacle? You know, how am I gonna do this? And I sit there and I figured out I'm a problem solver by nature. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what really helps me be an entrepreneur, because you have to wear multiple hats and you have to solve multiple problems. You're the biggest problem solver of that company. You know what I'm saying? So you have to sit there and figure out, hey, you know, I'm not getting no jobs on Sundays. Well, what do I need to do to push work for Sundays? And then you figure out, okay, let me do this, let me do that. You know, so whenever I come to an obstacle, I sit there, I brainstorm, and I figure out how to get over that obstacle or how to go around it. But either way, I'm gonna get to the other side.
Ooh, man, that's so good right there. I seen 2 gems that you just threw out, man. I hope you guys catch this too.
So get your notepad, your
yes,
pen, and start writing shit down.
yeah. And then 2, having that problem solver attitude. Because I have the same mentality, man. It's like
Yeah.
if there's an issue that I'm dealing with in the business that I have, I'm focusing on the solve the issue, not on the problem itself. Because we all deal with problems in business, but once I sit there and look at the problem solving part of it, I seem to fix it sooner.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 gems, man. I hope you guys, any entrepreneur out there that's watching this, and I hope you guys take those 2 key factors right there and apply them to your situation. Any young entrepreneur that wants to come up and start maybe a dumping business or a plumbing business, what you have any advice?
My advice would be, make sure you put 2 feet in. You know, you can't half step this shit. You know, you gotta put all your marbles in a basket. You gotta put your 100% of your heart into whatever you're gonna be doing, because you don't want a fraction of the results. You want to see all the results, right? And that's the thing about me. It's like, I tend to do things 100%. You know, and I think that's, the addiction part of me, but also it's the only way to become successful. I think about the billionaires. They didn't stop at $1 million. They didn't stop at 1,000. They kept going and kept going. Even rich people that are billionaires, they're still making more money and trying to figure out new ways to make more money. It's because it's the addiction side, saying. So you have to be really great or addicted to whatever you're gonna do in life to succeed. So that's what's helped me over the years to be at where I'm at today.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why we're having this interview, bro. Because I want to get exactly that, man. That type of mentality, like I said, goes like I remember when we went out to dinner, right? And this is years ago, and I remember you talking about that stuff, and I remember you saying it.
Yeah.
But I could hear the conviction in your thought process, because you said this is what I want to do, and it wasn't a joke. It wasn't like you were just daydreaming about it. Like I could hear it, whether Vanessa like took it serious or not. And I think sometimes, man, the ladies they don't see it. They got to see it afterwards. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I could tell that.
That's another thing too. I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people are not. A lot of people, they sit there, hey, I'm gonna do this, hey, I'm gonna do that, and they never do it. It's just pipe dreams for them. You know what I'm saying? But for me, like, I've always believed in, like, if I say something, I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
Because like that's my pride. My pride is, it's all about my pride, right? So it's like when I put something into the atmosphere, they best believe I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that happens, because I don't want nobody to see me as a failure. And I don't want to see myself as a failure. I always felt like I was meant for something greater in life. And I always felt like I had the gift of gab. I always felt like I had the hustle. I got a lot of heart compared to a lot of other people. I got tons of heart, and that heart helps me stay disciplined, stay motivated, and keep pushing myself to the next level until I get what I want.
Yes. Yeah. No, and that's key, bro. And hearing that come from you and thinking about that, like, what ways do you think as an entrepreneur for you that you can help other young entrepreneurs, or not even just like young, or someone could be in their 50s that want to start their own business? What things that you can bring to the table to help them? And I was going to ask you another question too before I forget. What do you think about mentorship? Like, how big is that for you? And I was going to ask you, did you have any mentors?
Okay, so first of all, what really helped me was educating myself on being an entrepreneur, educating myself on the trade or the thing that I wanted to do, right? So I'm talking about, I spent hours watching YouTube videos of people that have the authority in that field. You know what I'm saying? I've bought how to do books for entrepreneurs, about business. I read multiple books. I read probably about 10 books about business already. I need to read a few more, matter of fact. I primed my mind into that whole atmosphere of how to do business. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, if you really want to get into it, my advice would be to read books about it, watch YouTube videos, follow people on social media that are already established, see what they're doing, tricks of the trade. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the biggest thing. Maybe maybe you have a couple friends that are kind of in the industry. Pick their brain. You know what I'm saying? Learn. It's all about learning, bro. It's all about, like, if you want to be a plumber, get into an apprenticeship program. It's all about learning. If you want to be in junk removal, follow somebody like me that's already established. Junkawayinc.com or Junkawaysac. Follow somebody like me. If you want to be in barbering, you do a lot of videos about cutting hair and about the whole entrepreneurship way. So I would say if they want to get into barbering, follow you. I turn a few people onto your channel. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like my son. I've even turned my son onto you. You've taught him how to cut some hair. He wanted to get into that business. So I bought him some clippers. I was like, hey, go to Ray's shop. He'll teach you a few things. Shoot him a little bit of money for his time. It's all about learning, bro.
Yeah, no, that's a big one right there. That's a heavy one because, one of those things that you just said is about just focusing on and becoming that person, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to go there, man. And when people, I think these days when they try to half-ass it, when they want to put 1 foot in and 1 foot out, like you said, you got to put 2 feet in, and you got to dedicate, man. So I think that's key.
You got to eat, breathe, and sleep it
all day long.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And unless you want to do it part time and get part time results, then that's on you. But if you want to succeed, be the best person in that field, you got to eat, breathe, and sleep it
all day. Yeah. No, that's great advice. I mean, like I said, anybody that's coming up as an entrepreneur hears that and sees that, I hope they really understand that and watch this over again because, like I said, those key ingredients, man, are so important to if you're really trying to be an entrepreneur. Because I have a little bit of pet peeve with people who do put 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like if you're just dabbling in it, to me it's like, come on, make up your mind, you know what I mean? But if you're gonna do it, do it. I had a guy, I was at this gym one time getting this signed up back in the day, and he saw my tattoos of my scissors and a comb, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "When'd you take barbering serious?" And he goes, "Cause I'm trying to be a barber right now, and I'm cutting hair in my garage." And I said, "What do you mean?" Because I was so thrown off on his question, I didn't understand it. He goes, "Well, when did you take it serious?" I said, the day I said I was gonna become a barber. I said, "I don't understand what you're saying." He goes, "Oh, I'm saying, when did you really take it serious?" I said, and I probably came off a little rude, but I said, the time I said that came out of my mouth that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna become a barber, is when I was gonna make it happen. I said, and I told him, I said, "My bad, man." I said, I don't understand what your question. I told him, I said, if you're gonna do it, then do it.
Yeah.
Don't half-ass it. Don't put 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you're gonna make up your mind, man, make up your mind and just do it. That's all, and we're cool. But when I hear those questions, when I hear that type of stuff from people, the same thing how you look at it, it's you got to go all in, man. There's no other way.
Yeah.
And I get trying to build, if you have a job or something, you're trying to figure out, we all go through that, but dedicate for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I see a lot of people, they want whatever you have too, right? Yeah. So they try to figure out how to take shortcuts, or they want to jump on your bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? It's I had to earn that shit straight up and out from the bottom. So it's I see a lot of people they're trying to do what I'm doing, and it's if you're a close friend of mine, I'll give you a little bit of advice, but it's you really got to go out there and figure it out yourself. I don't mind giving advice, but I'm not gonna sit here and give you the whole game plan.
Right.
Because I had to work for that shit. And if you have to work for it, you're gonna appreciate it even more. And your hustle is gonna be more impeccable because you had to work from nothing and grow it all the way up to the top.
Real talk, yeah. No, real talk, man. And then I wanted to go through this at the last because, like I said, hearing your journey and hearing where you started, and then seeing everything how it's coming forward for you. The biggest thing, your biggest struggle, the biggest thing to year to date that you came over. What was the biggest thing for you?
The biggest thing I would say was my addictions. I would say, my addictions always held me back. Ever since I was 12, I've been, drinking alcohol. When I turned 18, I started, doing dope. So that was always, I would say, my addictions always held me back. And it's like I never had discipline growing up. I always did what I want, when I want, and just to get that quick satisfaction. You know, I didn't sit there and work for shit. So once I started turning about 30, I'm like, I looked at myself and I was like, is this the type of man I want to be? And the answer was no. I wanted a lot more for myself because I see myself struggling, you know, looking for instant satisfaction, you know, and that's not the way to go. You know, you got to sit there and work for things you want so you could appreciate it more, and you got to be a better version of yourself. I mean, I got 5 kids. I got kids looking up to me, you know, and I'm trying to be the best role model for them that I could be. I don't want to be sitting there, you know, doing drugs in the garage, you know, gang banging, drinking every day. So it's like I had to make some changes. So I started making changes slowly, and then so now I can say I'm drug free, alcohol free. You know, that's always held me back. I mean, I got 4 DUIs. I've been locked up many times. Like, you know, I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And now I see my kids looking up to me, you know, as like Superman or a superhero. You know, I see a lot of people like now they're congratulating me like, hey man, you motivated me to do this, or you motivated me to do that. Like, you know, and I got a lot of people cheering for me right now. So I know that I'm doing something good. Back then, I had nobody cheering for me. You know what I'm saying? I was just doing whatever I did because I was selfish. But now I'm doing things in a better limelight, you know, for my kids, my family, my wife, for myself. And I feel way better. I'm way more content, way more happier, and I'm accomplishing so much more that I just had to put those addictions to the side and level up.
No, that's awesome, bro. Like I'm telling you, man. Like I applaud you for that, because and even to get up on here and to be honest about your struggles and stuff like that, about your thoughts and stuff. For you, what was the breaking point in those addictions that you told yourself? Because I know sometimes we're by ourselves when we're dealing with this type of stuff. What was that moment that you had personally for you with no one else seeing? You know, not even your girl, your kids. Just you seeing that you're like, I gotta change this shit. Because there was something that changed in you.
Yeah, I would say 4 DUIs. You know, I would say, you know, it's like I'm 43 right now. It's like, you know, how does it look? You know, I mean, I'm sure if I didn't stop, I've been sober for 2 years. I'm sure if I didn't stop 2 years ago, I'd probably be working on number 5. You know what I'm saying? So I would say my 4th DUI was probably a big turning point. Each DUI I had was a turning point, but it just got more embedded in me that, hey, I need to do something. And I tried over the years, but man, addiction is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it took a long time for me to change. And it was just kind of little by little. And during my last bender, you know, I took it a little too far. So, you know, I didn't want to lose my wife. I didn't want to lose my kids. You know, to me, you know, I mean, when I die, you can put that, my biggest accomplishment was my family, you know, raising my family, because I feel like I'm the ultimate dad. But, you know, I didn't want to leave a bad legacy of myself. You know, oh, he was known for doing drugs. He was known for drinking, you know, womanizing, doing this, gangbanging, doing that, you know, stealing, robbing, whatever. You know, I wanted to leave a good picture of myself when I pass. I want to leave a legacy, and I'm trying to build an empire. So also, yeah, I want my kids I don't want them to grow up like I did. I want them to they already have everything in life, you know, and they're succeeding for the most part. And some of them deal with their own struggles, but that's another subject. Yeah. So anyways, you know, I'm the biggest role model around. You know, my son, when it was back to school night or something, and I seen a paper and it says, who's your biggest role model? And he put my dad. Yeah. And then drew a picture of me with the cape on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that shit really touches me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I didn't have role models like that growing up. You know, it's like, you know, my father was on dope. You know, my stepfather, you know, jumped in the picture. You know, I've had a lot of people struggling with growing up, so I didn't really have too many great role models. You know who my role model was, bro? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that. And, you know, that's probably why I'm such into fitness now, because I've always, you know, those were my role models growing up with these action figures.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know, to me, it's like, hey, I'm a superhero in my son's mind, so it's like I need to fit the role. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I work out so much too, and also it keeps me focused, because I wake up at 5 a.m, religiously. I work out 6 days a week. You know, it's kind of like where I leave my demons at the gym. You know, like I sit there, I work out, I feel good afterwards. You know, and it's like I don't have the energy to go fuck around and go drink all day or kick it with the homies. You know, I still come around here and there, but I'm not kicking it, you know, all hours of the night. You know, it's like I'm focused on my family right now, and that's where I'm gonna be, and that's what I'm gonna keep my focus towards.
Just hearing all that, bro, like everything makes sense in the entrepreneurship and how you took control of everything that you felt wasn't healthy for yourself and just made it like a solution, right? You came up with a solution.
Yeah, because I'm a problem solver.
So
I seen, you know, I seen the good in me, the bad in me, my pros, my cons, my strengths, my weaknesses, right? So I'm like, well, how do I get rid of these weaknesses? Well, I keep messing up because of this and that. So I'm a problem solver. I need to take alcohol out of that equation. I need to, you know, surround myself with different type of people. This fool that I'm kicking it with, maybe he's not the best person to be hanging around with. Let me call my boy Ray. Let me see what he's doing. You know, guys like you. You know, so my circle is changing. You know, a lot of my homeboys right now are entrepreneurs. You know, they're in the same struggle as me. Struggle, what I mean is they had the same mindset, and you know, they're about their family. You know, they're about their businesses. They're about making money. You know, they're trying to be the best version of themselves, just like myself.
Yeah. And another thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel for not drinking? You said 2 years, right?
Yeah.
For being clean from alcohol for 2 years. And how does that equate to your business and entrepreneurship now?
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie. The first couple weeks to the first year was torture. Like I felt like everywhere I was driving, I would see liquor stores, I would see a sexy bottle of Modelo, you know, like just glistening in the sun, you know, with the water drops. Like, man, they make that shit look so good. Yeah. You know, I feel like all the movies I was watching, everybody's partying, having a good time drinking. They don't ever talk about all the bad stuff with drinking, all the dark secrets and sides of drinking. They only promote the happiness, right? So that was really hard for me, or just going to parties in general. You know, I see people drinking. Like, usually I'm the last person to leave the party, but being around those type of parties, like, I feel uncomfortable there and I just want to leave. So the first year was hard. Year number between 1 and 2, it got a lot easier for me. I think it's because I kind of, you know, started to get over those feelings, and I started to see the change in myself. And I started to see, like, well, now I have all this extra energy, all this extra shit that I could focus on. So let me change all this into businesses, family, and working out. So I put a lot of focus on that now. You know, I'm able to wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m. I'm able to wake up, 6 a.m. on Saturdays, 6 a.m. on Sundays. I was never able to do that because I was always hungover, feeling like shit. So it's like I feel great on Saturdays and Sundays now. I have all this extra energy. I don't feel like shit. I used to have a lot of depression, but it was all because of drinking or drugs, so it's like all that shit kind of went away. And it's like I feel like like a superhero now. I feel great. I feel strong. I feel happy, so all that helped me to push on these businesses even more. I'm more clear-minded. So I'm able to sit there and think and have a good educated decision on how I'm gonna make different decisions in the businesses as opposed to going off my feelings. So before, I'd be drinking and stuff, like, okay, so this is a problem in one of these businesses. Well, I would just go off my emotions sometimes, and that's not always the best answer or the best solution. You got to sit there and you got to use your mind and you got to think, okay, how should I navigate through this to get the best results? And so I feel a lot more clear-minded now that I stopped drinking, and that's helped me with the businesses.
No, that's awesome, man. Because I know sometimes, addictions and go hand in hand with sometimes being an entrepreneur, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have that time to do more drugs or do more alcohol.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's harder.
And that was another thing too. It's like, man, if I wasn't getting a call by noon, well, I'm gonna go get a beer. Yeah. And then 1 turns into 10, and so on and so on. And they say in AA, which I've been to, they say 1's too many and 1,000's never enough. And that's true with the alcoholic or somebody who's dependent on drugs or has addictions. You know, it's like, you know, you can't just stop. It's like Doritos or chips, right? You can't just have one. I need to eat the whole bag. So for me, I've been 100% clean and sober for 2 years. I'm not touching nothing because I know once I have one, I'm gonna have 1,000.
No, and that's another key factor, you know, that I think we hear it so often, but people, if someone like you that's living it, breathing it, like you're walking that walk, that they have, like, it needs to be heard from you because it's true. Like you said, you know, if you surround yourself by better people and people on your same level, man, you're gonna grow. But if you're around people that are negative or, you know, dealing with their own, you know, battles, their own demons, you might be stuck around that also. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I think hearing that from you is a key factor, man. And like I said, any entrepreneur, anybody that's trying to do something, and like I said, we all got demons, we all got battles that we fight. You know what I mean? All personally, no one's perfect. We all understand that. But I mean, you got to look at it as like how you did, and you know, as me as well. As like you look at things as how do I take that out? If that's not working, I need to eliminate that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So to get to another spot. But yeah, man, good on you, bro. Good on your success, man. And we're gonna do a follow-up video in a couple months, and then we're gonna get down to about you being in your profession, and then talk about your professional, you know, business right now. I just want to get people to know you, see why you're on here, you know, get your story.
You can follow me at Gabe V510 on Instagram. You know, Facebook. I'm on Facebook too, TikTok. But you know, it's like I'm trying to promote and push a lot of positivity. Because I see so much negativity out in the world, and it's like, you know, positivity is contagious, bro. And it's like everybody needs a little sample of it and watch more, learn more, and you know, start to change their ways.
No, you know, I'm gonna stay. You know, I go to the gym. I do everything. You know, I work out and everything else. I mean, you know, we all could get better. But I would say, you know, when I do see you out there on your gram and you're working out, bro, it does motivate me too as well. Because I look at it and I go, damn, okay, I need it. It reminds me, okay, if I have one of those days where I'm like, man, maybe I don't want to do cardio today. Then I see you, and it's like this. What it is we all think about ourselves. You know what I mean? But when you're, like you said, we all need positivity though, because the negative stuff is easy. Anybody could do negative, but when you're looking at the positive stuff and you're like, damn, I need to do that for myself, I could do better, then it just helps. So what you're doing, bro, you're pushing your positive on the gram, and you're hustling, man, you're working out, keep doing it, bro, and just keep better, and I'm glad to hear that for you and your family, dog. So
right on, bro.
Real stuff.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
We'll do a follow-up one in a couple months, and then we'll get down to business from that.
Definitely.
So I just appreciate you coming on, bro, taking your time from the day, because I know you're busy, and it's all love.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Cool.